Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another one of our weekly live videos on Friday morning. If we haven't met yet, my name is Angela Olmos. I'm a full-time realtor in the Northeast Florida area. I'm with Momentum Realty. And I have my co-host, Delaney Bravo, who's a mortgage expert with Fiber Mortgage here with us today. How are you, Delaney?
I am good. And we have something really exciting today. So we have been talking about behind the scenes that we want to bring on some guests, and we have a first-class guest today that we are super excited. That's going to bring some value on something that we haven't talked about. And to be honest, we don't know a ton about the ins and outs and all of this. And that's why any topics like that, we want to bring on the experts, because we want to make sure that it is the best and most accurate information. So super excited about that today.
Yeah, me too. And Chase is amazing. I've actually sent clients to him, my buyers, when they're purchasing real estate and they need home insurance, to get insurance from him. So we really make sure that, you guys have great information. And I think this is a topic that is kind of interesting to everyone, and everyone's involved and seeing what's been happening in the insurance industry. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments as we welcome Chase into the stream. Hi, Chase. Welcome.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
I am just so glad that you're here with us this morning.
I appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. So it's great. I didn't know that you and Delaney actually know each other from way back. You guys went to high school together.
We do. What is it, 2023? So 14 years ago?
Oh my gosh. I was literally looking at pictures. I have a 4-year-old, and she accidentally found my old yearbook. And she was like carrying it out, and she's like, "What's this?" And so I opened it up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so early 2000s." But yes, we've known each other for a while, and I've sent many buyers to Chase. He is on top of it, and he has amazing quotes. So we're going to ask him some questions and kind of just chit chat. So tell us a little bit about where you work. I know we didn't say your full name or where you work. So tell us a little bit about what you do and where you're at.
Yeah, so my name is Chase Handcock. I'm an agency owner with Goosehead Insurance here in Jacksonville, actually all over Florida. Goosehead's the largest independent agency in the country. We've got access to over 50 insurance companies. So not just property insurance, auto, life, umbrella, RV, flood, all of it. So several options for all kinds of different situations. And happy to answer any questions you guys have about the exciting Florida insurance market.
Yeah, so the biggest question that I have, and what's been pressing in a lot of, my clients, mind too, is the rising cost of insurance here in Florida. And I think that we've all noticed that. And, the very first thing that comes to my logic would be probably the weather, the storms that we've had, the recent hurricanes. But this is not something new. I mean, Florida has had hurricanes for as long as Florida existed, maybe just not as prevalent as we have seen them recently. But I would imagine that's probably a reason why the cost of insurance has risen. But is there anything else beyond that we're just not seeing because they were going up so high and so fast?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's several factors that go into why the Florida insurance market has. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. Mm-hmm.
Hello?
We're good.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say there's several reasons as to why rates have increased so drastically over the last couple of years. The ones that most people focus on are fraud and litigation. So, bad faith contractors, bad faith claims. And insurance companies kind of have a choice, right? Like, do we pay the claim or do we deny it? A lot of times they'll pay it, and then sometimes they'll deny it. And then, obviously when they deny claims, you have unhappy customers, which is understandable. And a lot of times those unhappy people will go hire attorneys, and then it ends up in court. And then the insurance companies usually end up paying more in court than they would have if they just paid out the claim. So that's a big topic as far as why rates are increasing and why insurance companies are losing a lot of money. The second thing, obviously, Florida hurricanes. I know we just had one that thankfully wasn't bad. The last bad one though was last year when we had Ian. It was estimated that there was 60 billion losses or dollars in losses, which is obviously a large sum of money even across the industry as a whole. And then lastly is what most people don't know of or don't even think about is reinsurance costs. So that's basically just insurance for the insurance companies, and those rates have skyrocketed. So if you really just take those three things right there, the insurance companies are losing tons of money, and unfortunately they have no choice but to turn around, and the only way they really make it back is from us as homeowners. So
Wow.
those are the big things.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah. Well, one thing is, I mean, it's kind of like any industry. Like when there was issues with poultry, everything went up on that end. When there was low supply of construction costs during COVID, our construction supplies costs went up. So it's a business, so everything works with that, especially with the increase of claims. And one thing is, Florida is such a tricky market for insurance, I think, because there's so many factors. You could like, are you by the water? Are you down south? Are you a condo? Like, it's a huge place for second home. So there's just a ton of factors that go into that. And I prep my clients for that, like, hey, listen, insurance is a little bit more expensive than it used to. It's not going to be like you owned your house in 1980. So I think you explained that really, really well.
Yeah, it's a market, right? Just like real estate, just like interest rates, just like the stock market. I mean, it goes up and down. And I actually, of course, we're stuck in this increase right now over the past couple of years. So that's all anyone can think about. But I actually looked at a graph yesterday, or a historical graph, and again, it goes up and down. So they'll get things figured out eventually, and it may take some time, but things will stable out at some point. So it's not all bad news.
That's it. I like that. Recently there were talks about a company pulling out of Florida for insurance. Is that right? Or was that just talk?
Yeah, there's actually been a handful of them. The most recent one was United Property and Casualty, and I believe they had around 150,000 policies in Florida. So, and they were the 7th insurance carrier over the last handful of years to go insolvent. So, obviously leaves several homeowners in a tough spot.
Sure. And, let's talk a little bit about coverage, because that's one of those things that people might think, oh yeah, well, that's covered and that's not covered. But when you get homeowners insurance, what exactly is covered and what's not?
Yeah. So 90% of Florida homeowners are going to have what's called an HO3, which is the most comprehensive home policy that you can have. It basically covers everything except for what is listed under the exclusions, versus like a basic policy. The only things that are covered are what's listed as covered. Everything else is excluded. So the exclusions on the standard HO3 policy in Florida are mostly things that we hope never happens, like war and nuclear accidents. Some other exclusions include things like wear and tear, intentional damage, losses resulting from failure to protect your property after a loss has already occurred. So, insurance companies don't cover your AC unit if it's 20 years old and needs to be replaced. Just like car insurance companies don't replace your tires when they get old and need to be replaced.
I'm so glad you said that, because
so those are some of the things again that are excluded.
What you said about the AC, I think that's really valuable, because a lot of people might think that that's covered, but that's really not. That would be something that could be covered with a home warranty, but not with the home insurance. But things like the roof would be covered generally, right, Chase?
Yes, yeah, and I won't get down the rabbit hole of roofs, but again, wear and tear, if you buy a house with a 15-year-old roof, um, you know, unless it is damaged by wind, hail, hurricane, some covered loss, it's on us as homeowners to replace our property, our things when they get old and need to be replaced. And again, I don't want to really go down the road, but roofs are part of that. So
That's true. That's true. And, and those are some of the things that do impact the value of the property too.
right.
So that's something that you definitely want to keep current. A 20-year-old roof would be hard to insure, I would think. Is there even insurance for that? I mean, if somebody came to you, and I've come probably with some really old roofs before, but I don't think about 20 years old. But if someone did come with a 20-year-old roof, is there any kind of insurance for that?
There's very slim options. Honestly, the hard part with roofs, especially now with the underwriting guidelines being so tight, is that most people have an architectural shingle roof, which is supposed to last 30 years. And, I would say probably half the time, you get older roofs that are closing in on 20 years, and they probably are in pretty decent shape and, have no issues. But again, it's kind of just where we're at. And, but yes, to answer your question, if it's in good shape, there's usually a solution for most situations. So not going to be ideal, but.
So, were you going to say something, Delaney? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a quick question for you, and this is something that I see. So I know that when you're getting your home inspection, there are things that you can get additional reports that can give you discounts on your homeowner's insurance policy. And I know that one of those is called a wind mitigation report. What is that exactly? And what does that do to give a discount? And is there any other reports or things that homeowners can do to get further discounts?
Yeah, I'm sure Angela's probably familiar with this, being a realtor. But there's two insurance inspections that there's a 4-point inspection and a wind mitigation inspection. So 4-point inspections are more eligibility based. It just tells the age of the roof, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, what materials used, if they're in good shape, etc. Those are usually required for homes that are 30 years and older. And then the wind mitigation, that is your biggest home insurance discount. Homes that were built 2002 and newer, actually, unless you have hurricane protection, opening protection, or secondary water resistance, wind mitigations actually aren't super helpful on homes that are 2002 and newer. But anything built 2001 and older, absolutely, if the roof's been replaced after that date, wind mitigations are huge. So, and there really aren't, those are really the only two insurance inspection reports that are, required or useful. There isn't really anything else that has an impact like those two do. So.
Yeah, and the best time to get that wind mitigation report is when you are having your home inspected, as it is part of the whole buying process. When that time does come for you to get the home inspector to check the systems of the home, things like the roofing, the electrical, the AC, that would be the best time for him to give that report, to produce that wind mitigation report. And then what you would do is work with the lender and the insurance company to make sure that you qualify for those discounts, because that could make a big difference. Is there a big difference in the savings with that, Chase?
Yeah, absolutely. Wind mitigation can be thousands of dollars. And then, the 4-point has like some indirect impacts, because a lot of people, or a lot of companies, I should say, like water heaters, for example, most require 15 years and newer. So if you've got a water heater that's 18 years old, you may cut out half of your insurance options because it doesn't qualify with, half those insurance companies. Which of course, indirectly, the less options you have, probably the more you're going to pay. So it's always better to have 10 options than have 3.
Absolutely. And then also things like electrical. This comes to mind. I think you actually helped me with this. I had a client who bought a house that was wired with different codes from when the house was built to what it is right now. And what we had to do was upgrade the electrical system. And while it seemed like a big job to do, because that's all behind the walls, nowadays they can actually do the aluminacons. And with that application, just simply by putting the aluminacons on the outlets, then all of a sudden that just opened up the options to get insurance, better insurance at a better rate. Is that right, Chase?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we don't really see it, or we only really see it on older homes. But the aluminum wiring is what you're referring to, and most or some will accept if the aluminacon's been installed, which I believe isn't too expensive of a fix. And then cloth wiring is the other one that's pretty widely ineligible. So.
Right. And then now let's talk about these other riders that people should know about, since, we live here in Florida, things like a hurricane rider, or is that an additional policy, or how is that structured to make sure that they're covered in the event of a hurricane?
Yeah. So again, the Florida HO3 policy, unless you're in a really strict area or your policy excludes winds, all HO3 policies are going to include coverage for hurricane and wind and hail. What I tell people when I do home insurance and people are purchasing homes, what I tell them really is not included in the policy that they may want to consider are three things. One is flood, two is sinkhole, and three is scheduled personal property. So I know you guys might have additional questions on flood, but sinkhole can be added on most HO3 policies, especially in Northeast Florida, because they're not very prevalent up here. However, most companies require you to get an inspection by a land surveyor, which is usually like $150 or $200. And then we have to submit that, and then they review and either approve or decline adding that on. And then scheduled personal property is jewelry, artwork, firearms, collections, anything unique and valuable is not going to be covered fully under your home insurance. So, your wedding ring, your guns, that kinds of stuff. So I know some people may think that, my $25,000 wedding ring's covered on my home insurance. It's actually not. So those are really the three things that I feel like most people commonly have or commonly will want to add on coverage for. So.
Got it. And then, talking about the structure of the insurance world and how you are positioned in it, you're a broker, is that right, Chase?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what would be some of the differences, with dealing with a broker, besides, as opposed to going with the insurance company directly?
Sure. I mean, like most businesses, brokers, it's pretty simple. We've got several options for all kinds of different scenarios, right? New homes, old homes. If you have a claims history, if you have an old roof, again, if everything's in pretty good shape, we can find a solution for almost any situation. And again, back to what I had kind of said in the beginning, we've got access to auto insurance carriers, flood, liability, all your toys, life insurance. So we're not just limited to property insurance, and with a State Farm or a USA, which are amazing companies, by the way. I wish we had access to them. They unfortunately only have access to those products. So, if you are purchasing a home and, you've been with State Farm for 30 years and you call your agent and you say, hey, can I get a quote for home insurance? And they say, oh yeah, it'd be $5,000, or vice versa. They say, oh, the house is too old, we can't insure it, versus going through a broker or an independent agent. We've got several options. So we may have, a policy for $2,000, a policy for $3,000, and a policy for $5,000. So the options are just obviously much more vast than, in comparison to the captive agencies. So.
So it sounds like it's very similar to like a buyer going to get a pre-approval from Delaney, where Delaney would have more than one lender option for that buyer, as opposed to just going directly to just that one option. Is that right?
Right. Right. Or if they, have lower credit or, all whatever kind of scenarios, you run into, Delaney, I'm sure having more options, you can work with most situations. So.
Makes sense.
Yes. And so the last thing is, I know, just a personal testimony, where you go for your insurance, just like a mortgage, is super important. And I can tell you, I've had dozens and hundreds of clients with insurance needs. And I can tell you that when you're going with some of these companies that are a direct insurance company, getting them to get your lender the documents needed for the underwriter to approve can be as long as a week process. When it comes to Chase, once you finalize the quote you want to go with him, it is literally within 24 hours. And when we're working against the clock and trying to hit a closing date, that is extremely important. So just a personal testimony that Chase is extremely knowledgeable, like knows inside and out on insurance, is on top of it, and gets me quotes same day for clients, which will not happen with other companies, and will bind your policy ASAP. So last question, Chase, is if people want to reach out to you, I know we had your number scrolling at the bottom, but what is the best way for people to reach out to you, and what do you need to get them a quote?
Yeah, I saw my phone number on the bottom of the thing. That is I don't know if it's still up there or not, but that is my cell phone number.
And is that okay to put on the screen?
Yeah. So, my cell phone number is on like some of the insurance tech pages anyway. So yes, my cell phone number is 100% fine. My direct office line too is 904-503-9558, and my email is chase.handcock@goosehead.com. And as far as quotes go, really, in order to get accurate quotes, all we need is name, date of birth, and property address. Obviously, if you're purchasing a home and it's older and inspections are required, in order to finalize anything, we usually need those. But we can always get general quotes and kind of go from there. So.
Awesome. And you are here local. You're here in Jacksonville in Northeast Florida. You're actually here in our area. I think that's important to notate, because a lot of times when you wind up ordering insurance, a lot of times you just get an 800 number, and it just might be someone answering from possibly even outside of the state or outside of the country. So this is amazing that you can actually have a local representative here. And it just makes the whole transaction go so much smoother, because, by dealing with us, we'll be able to establish the contract, the financing, the insurance, and just make sure that we work together as a team for your benefit. So just wanted to give you guys the resources and all the information. So if you have any further questions and would like to get in touch with Chase, we've got his information scrolling here at the bottom of the screen, and I'll go ahead and add on his email to the comments.
Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
Thank you, Chase, so much for joining us and coming on with all of your expert knowledge. So me and Angela are going to keep it moving and talk about a couple different things. So thank you so much for joining us. And like Angela said, she'll put his info down below.
All right. Thank you for joining us,
Awesome.
Chase.
Thank you, ladies, so much. You guys are great. Have a good day.
Thank you. All righty. That was fun.
Oh my God, first time really with a guest, and he did so good. We're kind of quirky, and he dealt with it. It was amazing.
He was perfect. I'm so glad. Yeah, and this is something that we have been wanting to do, to like bring people into our show. And it would be ideal to have people that bring value to like the whole real estate transaction. There's so many moving parts with what we do. There are home inspectors, there are stagers, there are photographers, there are videographers, there's mortgage people, there's insurance people. I mean, our whole industry supports so many other industries. So if you are in one of those industries that I just mentioned and would like to come and join us giving value to our community, please connect with me or Delaney, and we can make the time work for you. These types of videos are super easy to make, because you can make them wherever you're at. As long as you have a solid internet connection, we'll make it super easy for you.
And we can pre-record. So just just because you're not available Fridays at 10 doesn't mean we can't do it. So super important if you want to get your name out in front of a lot of people on social media, this is a great way to do it. But next, I'm going to keep this moving because we are, trying to keep this as short as possible for you guys. But I'm going to go over a couple events really quick in Jacksonville. We have the Jacksonville Book Fest, which is today and tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., which I think is really cool. So it's coming to the main Jacksonville Library off of Laura Street downtown, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it is free. So if you are a bookworm, this is a great, event to come to.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love books.
I know, me too. Nothing better than, but see, I'm a paper book person. It's hard for me to go on a Kindle personally.
Really? What about the audio? Do you do any of those?
I've tried it a couple times and I really like it. The issue I have is I can't listen to it while I'm working. So I do it while I'm driving, but my 4-year-old doesn't like it, so.
Mommy, change the channel.
Yeah, change the channel. Put on Disney. So next we have Neo, Robin Thicke, and Mario. If you are a millennial, this is like your stuff. They are coming actually tonight, and there's tickets still available. It's at Daly's Place. So just another fun one I saw come in this week, and I wanted to share. Let me see. So this next one is 5th Annual Oktoberfest. It is tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. There are tickets that are required. And as you can see here, it has a whole schedule. And you're going to be going around getting a ton of drafts and, really unique beers. And I thought it was pretty cool. There's also a whole German menu with, soft pretzels. So just another really fun event. And it's going to be off Old St. Augustine Road. Really it's going to be a fun event. So wanted to share that one.
Fun.
And lastly, we got a Jags game. We're back in football season. I'm just so excited. Gives us like something to come and hang out with family and friends on Sundays, watch some games. So It's going to be the Jags versus the Texans. My husband is from Houston. So this is going to be
to the game?
No, I don't think we're going to the game, but we'll be watching it from the house. So so 1 to 4 on Sunday. And we have a little extra that we wanted to bring up for you guys. It is this property right here. So tell if the pictures, where are my pictures? Do they not come up? Tell us a little bit about this property, Angela.
Oh my God. So this is my listing. I want to share with you guys 7630 Las Palmas Way. And Delaney's pulling it up on the website here. It is a beautiful location. Like you're right in the heart of Southside with lots of shops and restaurants nearby. You're also close to I-95. So if you needed to get downtown for work or anywhere really in the city, you could be in 95 within like 5 minutes. If you need 295, maybe 10 minutes to 295. But it's a beautiful 2-story condo. So in the world of condos, a lot of times you wind up being either on the bottom floor or the middle, and then you have people above you. But in this condo, you won't have anyone above you. It's a 2-story, which gives you a little bit more privacy. Another thing is that it just had a brand new roof put on, brand spanking new, like 2 weeks ago. And that's a huge added value to a property. That's probably one of the most expensive things that you could have replaced, that and the AC on a condo. So the AC is still pretty new. We recently had a new washer put in. It's got a new water heater, and it's a great listing. It's ideal for anyone that maybe travels for work and doesn't really want to maintain the yard, who enjoys just the location and the ease of all of that. So connect with me. I would love to help you get it. We'll make it super easy. Delaney can do the financing for you. She'll get you pre-approved at no cost. Oh, and by the way, which is hard to find on a condo, this is VA eligible, which basically qualifies for 100% financing. So if you have VA eligibility, you could literally come in, finance 100% of it, which we haven't even talked about the price. It's reasonably priced. It's only $219,900. So the payments on that could be so affordable. I would dare to say that's probably just as much as you would pay on rent, or maybe even a little bit less. Now, it is a condo, so it does have an association fee, but any condo is going to have that. And that's what pays for the convenience of having the yard mowed, all the insurance on the property, the home insurance is covered with the HOA. So I hope that you guys take advantage of it. I'll put the link on the comments so you can hear more about it.
And I can just tell you really quickly, Angela and I grabbed breakfast, and it was right next to this listing. So we went and checked it out, and I've seen it in person. It is beautiful. And I can tell you that it is, to find something this beautiful for $219 is not easy in our current market, especially within literally 3 minutes of the highway. And the complex is so well taken care of. And if you go down to what is in the backyard really quickly, sorry, I'm probably giving you guys a headache.
That's probably one of the best parts.
Yes. Sorry to scroll so fast, but just to get here, like to have this view from a condo and have that much, not yard, but yard is really, really unique. And you can tell this is a slightly older community in the best way possible because there's so much space. Newer condos are more apartment-like. This is much more homey feel. So super cool property. It's priced really well, and we wanted to just give it a shout out. But I think other than that, we are good to go.
Awesome, Delaney. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. So we're here to help. As always, the very first step when you're buying a home is to get your pre-approval. Make sure that you do that, and Delaney has all the resources and the expertise to help you through that. It's a free step, so you have nothing to lose. And I guarantee you'll come out so much better after talking with her than before not knowing whether you are approved or what you might be approved for. So definitely take that step. And then once you're approved, then let's connect, because then that's when I can take you out home shopping. And of course, before we do that, we'll have a consultation to find out exactly what you're looking for, what's important to you, what's your budget, time frame, all of that. So we've got all the tools, the resources, and the expertise to help you. And that's what we're here for. All right. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, if you want to be a guest on our video show, just connect with me or Delaney and we'll make it happen. And I appreciate you guys. So have a great day, and until next time, remember to be kind to one another, and we will see you on the next video. Take care. All right, and then my official send off. Here we go.